Alright, so we have another question here, and an expression we have to express in standard form, and we are given this to express in standard form. So why don't you pause the video as usual, try to solve it, and we can compare our answers after. So go ahead and just pause the video and try it. Okay, so let's solve it together. The first thing we're going to do here will be for us to change each of these that is in ordinary form to standard form. So let's change this one first to standard form, and for us to have that in standard form, we're just going to write out the significant number here first. So the significant number there is 275, significant number, and we are going to introduce our times 10. We introduce our times 10 to it, and after that, the next thing we're going to do will be for us to count the numbers of digits that we have after the decimal point, and we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this will be -5 here. Okay, so we are done with that one. So we come over to this one and bring the multiplication sign again, and then come here, write out the significant number, and that is 640. 640 is the significant numbers. Okay, 640. Now we bring in our multiplication sign by multiplying it with 10, and we need to know the number of, we need to know the power. So come here after the decimal point, let's count how many digits we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that will be -5. So we've been able to convert the decimal, the numerator, everything in the numerator here into standard form. Okay, so we are going to do the same thing. We're going to do the same thing for our denominators, numbers that we have in the denominators. And for us to do that, let's come here, and the significant number here is 25. So we just have our 25 here. So our 25 written out first, and we are going to introduce multiplication sign with 10, multiplying it with 10, and we're going to check how many powers. Let's check the power. So after decimal point, let's count 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be -3. It's going to be -3. Good. So we've been able to convert that one successfully. Of course, we bring down our multiplication sign, and significant numbers is only 8. So only 8. So 8, and then times 10, and we check for the power. And then after the decimal point, how many decimal places is there? 1, 2. So it's going to be -2. Good, -2. So successfully we've been able to change from the ordinary form that they were to standard form. And the next thing we're going to do will be for us to isolate each of these numbers first, solve them together. The thing we're going to do will be for us to have them together first. That's 275. Okay, times 640. Okay, all over 25 times 8. All over 25. Okay, times 8. Okay, we've been able to do that, and then let's arrest that part for the powers. And for the powers, we're going to have times all of them we multiply all of them with 10, right? Okay, so times 10. Let's have a 10 here, and for this first one that we had, times 10 for the numerator zone. So all we have here is we're going to work on these powers. When we are multiplying powers, we are adding the powers. So that will be -5 plus -5, and of course that will be -10 here. For this one, it's going to be -10. Good. and all over another times 10. Remember, we are multiplying everything with 10. Now this 10 for this other one and this other one, okay, times 10. Good. And let's look at the power. The power here will be minus 3, okay, plus this minus 2, and minus 3 plus minus 2 will give us what? Will give us minus 5. Give us minus 5. All right, so having set it up this way, we can go ahead to do our cancellation. So 25 will cancel itself how many times? One time. 25 will come into 27 how many times? One time. Remainder 2. Add that 2 here, you become 25. 25 now comes into this 25 how many times? One time. So here we have 11, and 8 will cancel itself how many times? 8 will cancel itself one time. 8 will come into this 64 how many times? 8 times. And then this 0 is 0 times. So here is 80. All right, so we can write it out. Where are we writing it out now? Let's create a space here. Let's create a space here and finish it up by multiplying 11 times 11. Let's multiply 11 by 80. All right, and then of course 11 times 80 will be 800 and 888 rather. Yes, we now have it as 880. Oh, that seems like 6. Let's try to have something better. All right, 880. This is 800, please. Okay, and then over 1. So let's solve for that of power. Let's solve for that of the power. Times. When we are dividing power, we subtract. So let's take only 110 out of this 210. So we get one of, let's get one of it out, times 10. And since we are dividing, we subtract the power. So here we had here first, as the power here first was minus, the first power here was minus 10, remember? Good. And we are subtracting it, so minus this other one here. This other one here is 5. This other power here is 5. So minus 5. Good. So solving this power out, you're gonna solve that power out, and then before that, let's bring down our 880. The 880 multiplied by 10. And here we are to solve our power out. Solving our power out, we're gonna have it that minus 10 minus 5. Okay, first minus here, taking away the bracket will be plus. So minus 10 minus 5 will give us minus 5. So here will be minus 5. All right, here will be minus 5. Okay, so we can keep it in keeping it properly in a standard form will entail that we have a decimal, so we can move decimal point 2 places to the back. Let's not stop at the 0. Let's move again, fix the decimal point here. So it's now going to be 2 places to the back, and that will be 8. That will be, let's get this, that will be 8.80. good. 8.80. We can put that 0, we might not put that 0, but remember we move it 2 places to the back. So times, we took out, since we move it 2 places to the back, we're having something here. There is, and we are subtracting it with 2 here. That's subtracting, taking away 2 plus 2 here. That will not be subtraction sign. When we take away plus the 2 that we moved it backward, it's going to make it to become minus 3. Yeah, minus 3. So here becomes minus 3. So if you check our option, okay, option C is correct. Option C is correct. So that was the correct option. So this was quite very simple. We were given this to express in standard form, And for us to do that, what we simply did was for us to convert each of them to standard form. So 0.00275, we converted it to standard form, and that gave us 275 times 10 raised to the power minus 5. We did the same to all of them, and we isolated all the numbers. We ignored the power at first, all the powers. So we had 275 times 640 divided by 25 times 8. Then we worked on the power here. Now, since all of them were multiplied by 10, and the power here was minus 5 and minus 5, adding up the power, since it's multiplication, we had minus 10. And over here, since the power was minus 3 here and minus 2, and it's still multiplication, adding up the power, we had minus 5. Good. And we proceeded by dividing this. 25 cancel itself, 1 comes into 27 one time, remainder 2. We added that 2 to this 5, became 25. 25 comes to 25 is one time. We're done with that. We then came to this one. 8 cancel itself one time, comes into 64 8 time, now comes to 0 times. So we had 11 times 80. 11 times 80 gave us 880, and then multiplied with this other part that we worked on, times 10. We subtracted, since it is division, we subtracted minus 10 from minus 5. Subtracting minus 10 from minus 5, we finally had minus 5 here, so it became times 10 raised to the power minus 5. I needed to keep it in standard form, so we need to move the decimal point here 2 places backward. We didn't move it one place because it will be 0.8. 88.0 will not give us what we were looking for, so we moved it 2 places, and that became 8.8. No need for us to add that 0 because that 0 is not significant, right? So we ignore that 0. Since we move it 2 places to the back, it's going to reduce now from minus 5 to by 2. That would be minus 3, and the option was option C. Option C was the option. All right, so we proceed. So see you in the next class. Bye for now.